Hi, this is Amy again, and I wanted to talk to you about my first topic of my curriculum for BeLovEd, and that would be tools for school. I really like this one because it's kind of like, what do I even need to get started? And we can begin with talking about ascension, such as cosmic and spiritual kind of word, but really to me, it's awakening. It's awakening to your own power of creation, of creating the world around you. And it's happening one way or another. We are all awakening, awakening to the ways that we've held ourselves back, the awakening to how our thoughts have been out of alignment with what's best for us. Our actions have been out of alignment sometimes with what's best for us. I have expanded my vocabulary so much in the last 5 years, I can't even tell you. A lot of the words that I use now, I never used 5 years ago. I've never heard of them. And so it's kind of fun now when I have this just hugely expansive base in so many esoteric kind of topics. And I started with this process with a slight amount of, I wouldn't say fear about these words, but it's just how other people feel when they hear some of these words that are completely kind of unconscious or not really spiritual at all. And they used to have a little bit of a stigma, and now they're just like regular old words to me. So I love that I've cleared out so much fear that they're just so normal. So let's get started. I have a list over here of some of the tools. I'm going to put my readers on. Sorry, kids. This happens when you get older. My list of tools that I think are imperative for ascension and being the creator of your own reality are as follows. Intention. You must have intention with whatever you're doing, because it's like setting your GPS on where you're going. And sometimes it's okay to be lost too. It's okay to meander around, but there comes a time in your life where it's likely important that you know where you want to go, that you know what you want your life to look like. And I say that every choice you make needs to reflect that end goal. Now you're very welcome to change the end goal at any time, and then you just adjust your map as you're going that way. So your intention is just kind of one of those, really strong grounding points of like, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. And so every choice you make from that moment on should be in alignment with that future. I want to move away in 5 years. So every choice you make needs to be in alignment with that future. I want to be in a healthy relationship. Every choice you make after that needs to be in alignment with that. The tricky part about some of those things is some things have to go. Sometimes relationships have to go. Sometimes you need to heal something before you can have that relationship. Sometimes always you have to match what you desire, and that's a whole nother video. So we'll leave there with intention. The next is dedication. Very important. It doesn't have to be solid every day all the time. You just give yourself a break, take the time. There's not a race. It's just dedicated to the process, and know that you have a whole lifetime at least to master this process that is. And the best and most important thing is to enjoy it as much as you can. Feel the emotions as they arise and let them go afterwards. Just don't rest there. But the dedication is knowing that there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and to enjoy them each and every one as they are a rare occurrence. The next is grounding skills. This was a weird word for me because I didn't understand what grounding meant. But grounding for me means having an intuitive idea or thought about how I wanted my life to look, and then acting that way every day. So if I knew that some Oh, I'm trying to think of an example. Some way of maybe relating to my children was going to be important than perhaps not responding all the time when they ask me or they're expressing something. I don't have to fix it all the time. And so this thought came to my mind that, I just have to listen and I have to ask them what it is they need from me in the moment. Do they need me to be supportive? Do they need advice? Do they need, what is it that they want? Do they want me to just hold space? So this was a practice I had to learn to do instead of just reacting every time. But that concept has become, I'm grounding it more and more into my reality when I use it more often. So I don't know if that's a good example, but that's the one I've got right now. So, but it is, it's having a notion, having an idea, having a thought, and grounding it means using it and bringing it into your world on a regular basis. Kind of like changing your diet, I suppose. You don't have to do it all the time or super dramatic, but every little step you take in cleaning up your diet becomes a more grounded reality for you. It's not just a thought. It's just not a desire. It is once you've done it so many times. The next is energy awareness. Also, kind of a vague term, I think, energy, because it's just everything and it's vague, but it's also so rich. So just understanding energy at its core is probably the best thing when you realize everything is energy and we have a relationship to everything. So when you really break it down into knowing that like deeply knowing that everything is made of energy, that and everything is affected by our energy and we are affected by its energy. So becoming a master of your own is the best way to do that. And that's also a process and takes time, and will be something you continue to master your whole life. The next is an insatiable thirst for self-love. I love this one because, man, I didn't know what self-love looked like. I'm still adding to the list every day, but self-love did not look like what I thought it was going to originally. It is being kind to yourself when you're not having a great day. It's honoring that downtime when you need it, or honoring your budget. It's honoring your body, mind, and spirit. It is getting in the sunshine. It is walking in nature. It is hydrating your body and putting lotion on your skin. It is telling people no when you want to say no. It is really, truly listening to your heart and knowing when it's not good for you. That whole phrase, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. It's very true and short, but man, woman, or child, you really have to find your own balance and happiness and enjoy, and knowing when you're saying no to something, that it's not being selfish, or it's not telling another person no, it's telling yourself yes. The next one is curiosity. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite ones. Curiosity is huge for me. It has been the leading marker for me in the way I respond to life. I try to stop, especially when I'm triggered, and be curious. And how I think seek first to, I can't remember what that phrase is, to understand, seek first to understand. And this is curiosity to me. So when I get triggered by something, a word or an experience or a person, I try to stop and be curious about why. Why are they responding this way? Why am I triggered? Why, is this even showing up in my world? So if you can stop where you are anytime, and even the good stuff, I mean, it always helps to be curious. You don't have to go into an existential crisis with it, but it helps, especially in those hardcore kind of emotional moments, to stop and find some curiosity about the situation. Present moment awareness. Wow, this is a big one for me. And I'm a Gemini, and being present is like asking a butterfly to never move off of its one spot. but I have learned to do it, and really it's just acceptance. It's acceptance for the very moment. Even if you're hungry, if you're sleepy, just accept that you're sleepy, and that's all your body is feeling tired right now, and may need rest, or it's just a phase in your life that isn't blissful, but can you accept that that's where it is right now, and that it's always moving, and all things are always changing and always shifting. This is another one of those spots where I'll go back to curiosity for a second, where it's helpful to find curiosity in those lower moments and just enjoy them as much as that's possible. But present moment is like, that's all we have. I mean, the future's not here and the past is gone. There's nothing we can really do with it. So as our thoughts are moving into the future, then you're really kind of off your path. I mean, you can plan things, but really being in the present is a really, it's personal too. Discovering how you move out of the present moment is your own mastery and discipline that is, again, special just for you. So all I can do is point to that present moment reminder and ask you to dig in and find how that looks for you. Passion for exploration. It's probably not a must, but man, if you're on this process and you're drawn to any of these videos or any sort of spiritual stuff, passion for exploration, especially if you're Gemini, I think that's part of my magic, is I love exploring things. I love new, I love learning, I love the possibilities. And because the more, you have to work with sometimes, I mean, the more elaborate your magic can be, the more expressive your creativity can be. There's just so many wonderful facets of being on Earth right now, whether it's just discovering the landscape or discovering your astrology or discovering your children and who they are. I mean, exploring every nuance of your day and the magic that it is pretty cool. Just stay grounded and stay present. Bring your shadow and your light. It is really helpful to realize that we are imperfect beings, and it's really not even imperfect. We just are what we are, where we are. It's not who we are, it's where we are in our journey. And it's messy and it's wonderful, and it is part of it. So that whole, I think Eckhart Tolle says to sin is to miss the mark. So your shadow side has a purpose. It has, it's helpful. My shadow side has been great for me to, I guess, as a place of friction where I can, understand more about myself and how I have a shadow, why I have a shadow side, and where did it come from, and how can it serve the experience as well. So knowing that you have that and you're willing to face your shadow, not judge your shadow, but face it and partner with it is huge. Let's see. The ability to let go. Wow. And am I tired of hearing that? Let go, let go, let go. And it's also extremely important because I've had to let go of friends. I've had to let go of memories or experiences where you make peace with it and then you let it go, and it no longer needs to stay in your energy field. You no longer need to feel guilt or shame or fear or anticipation, or just like letting go of the future outcomes, letting go of the past outcomes, letting go of control and be in the flow, So letting go, again, multifaceted, but it's a tool that is really helpful. Balance, balance, balance. Balance. You know how they say location, location, location? I say balance, balance, balance. And it is not ever going to be in perfect state. So let go of that right now. But because that can make you insane to think that there is some balance that you have to maintain. But there is a balance, a harmony. Let's call it harmony too. I like that. Where things all work together, and it is not, you don't give more than you receive, and you don't love more than you're loved, and you don't, you know what I mean? Like there's just things that can get out of balance very easily, that you sleep and you rest and you body, mind, and spirit. You keep those three things especially in balance, and it's fantastic. And they work together. And when they're working together, it's the Trinity. It's it's your masculine and your feminine working together with the creator. And like, there's so many ways that when you're keeping all of those things in balance, that's your mastery. Forgiveness of self and others. Holy cow, yes, this goes back to self-love again. You must be able to forgive yourself. Please, even if you can just do it right now, just it's not serving you any good. You can write it down and say you'd like to maybe go back and discover more about why you even want to forgive yourself. There's all kind of healing ways to do that. It's kind of emotional time travel. You can go back to that moment and reenact it, and you can kind of release it because it's almost like you've gotten stuck there in that place, and that's why it stays in your mind, and why you feel like you need to hold on to the whatever you were trying to forgive yourself for, when really it just wants a little bit of attention, and then it can go. So take note of these things that make you feel guilty or shameful, or that you would even need forgiveness. And same with other people. If you need to offer forgiveness to someone else, really, it's only taking up your energy. So you'll need to be ready to let go and forgive, and find that space for yourself. Okay, the next is detachment. Detachment is a weird word because a lot of times I think people think detachment means that you don't care. And it's not about caring. It's about letting go of the outcome of something. So if you're emotionally attached to a person, any choice they make can affect you emotionally. So that's attachment. And it's also, what was the word? Can't think of it right now. Codependent. Yes, I've had to deal with some of that fun stuff, but it's like the other person, if they're upset, then it affects your reality, and there's just no need for that. I always think of detachment like the yin and the yang symbol, and how they move around each other, but they don't ever overlap into each other's space. And I always like to think of spirit, God, universe, source, Gus is moving through that yin yang symbol and around it. So it's encompassing the balance of those things. And detachment is that. It is not being affected by the response of other people or other situations. And you can just move so much more freely when you're detached, untethered, if you will. An open mind and an open heart. This is another big one, I think, because if your mind is closed, it's harder for your heart to open, I think. And your heart is that intuitive center. So if your mind is telling you that something isn't good or right, or you heard something about this, or you heard something about that, then you'll often lead with your mind instead of your heart. So it's really kind of imperative to work with both. The ego is part of the mind, in my experience, and that's a whole nother beast. Taming the ego, using it is not a bad thing. It's just there to assist you. May also be part of your shadow. Yes, so opening your mind to new words, new experiences. And this is that place where you can connect with your heart and decide for yourself. If you've heard tarot card readings are of the devil, and so you're not going to do that. Now that's something you heard. Are you sure of that? Is that your experience? And by the way, there are people that aren't really have good intentions toward you, and they're doing tarot cards. So this is a one-on-one experience, and every time something pops up into your reality and someone offers you a tarot card reading, you can stop and ask your heart, how do I feel about getting this? Do I feel excited? Do I feel nervous? Does it feel right? So then you can balance that heart and mind business with deciding on whether the experience is good for you, not surely or sort of purely rejecting it because of something someone told you once or something you read somewhere. It needs to be your choice of how you go through your life. the things you um, want to experience. Vulnerability. Oh, yeah, this is another good one. Being able to speak your heart. Man, I didn't know I wasn't doing that. I'd never seen it. It looks sentimental and sensitive, but it doesn't necessarily have to be weakness, or it can just be, again, with a wide open heart, sharing your truth. And with detachment, you can do that because you're not afraid of the outcome. So they all work together in harmony. Integrity, yes, yes, yes. Honesty. And this is a good part of your alignment, because I notice that anytime I'm not in alignment with my heart, and I say acting out of integrity, it doesn't even have to be something like stealing or lying or anything. It can just be when a relationship is challenging you and you don't feel good about it anymore. Living in integrity means telling the person, this isn't working for me anymore. Or going into work and with a bad attitude and, dropping on everybody else. And, integrity means either don't go to work and get rid of the feeling, the angry feelings or the angsty or whatever, if you're having a bad day, or just showing up at work and choosing to deal with that later. Just, being conscious of your actions and your choices, and again, where are they coming from? Engagement with all of your life. Yes, a spiritual awakening and ascension and all of this. My program is meant to lead you towards engaging with all facets of your life and making sure each one is as full, as bright, as healthy, as loving, and as giving and light-filled as it can be. So if you're not, if you decide to jump into this program with me, we're going to touch on everything that is keeping you away from your heart, that's keeping you away from the perfect paradise for you. Humor, yes, please. Can we have some of that? I do notice that this journey can feel real heavy sometimes. And it's just, I think, not necessary. I don't know when we got so serious about it, but it feels very serious sometimes. Very, very serious. So if on the way we can laugh a little bit more, and it's funny, the timer just said 2:20. I guess I've been going for 22 minutes and 22 seconds, and that's a magical number, which we will also talk about in another video, which is the language of the universe, synchronicity. So humor, yes, let's laugh as much as we can. Love lens. I love this one. If you can look at your journey through the lens of love every time, you're always going to feel empowered and less like a victim. Realizing that the universe is pure love, and even in the worst, roughest times in your life, there is that thread of love that is there always, and it's sometimes the way we're viewing it that makes it look like it's intentionally against us. Everything that's happening is here for us to notice and to utilize for our own ascension, for our own happiness. So learning that and being willing and open to see things through the lens of love. Excuse me. Trust that you're loved. Trust in the unfolding of your life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Trust in the divine nature of things. So if you can hold on to that, trust that there's magic, trust that it's just really all about getting back to your heart and all about getting back to experiencing the best possible reality. Hold that in your awareness as much as possible. And the last thing I have written, I'm sure I will add more to this list later, but is sharpened senses. So bring your sharpened senses to class. And that means hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, feeling. All of those are a huge part of becoming intuitive, becoming grounded, becoming in charge of your reality. I mean, it's again, a body, mind, spirit kind of thing. And our intuition is wrapped in our senses. And it's just really important that we start honing those kinds of things and discover is your natural gift of sensory, extrasensory perception. We all have, from my understanding, at least one very strong gift, and we have access to all the other clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience. I know I'm missing some of the other ones. I think there's 5. But we all have access to them all. It's just, and we pull them in when we need them. And we can develop each and every one of those. So be ready to sharpen your senses. Anyway, that is what I have so far for tools for school. And I'm getting really excited about class. So anyway, I hope you're having a great day. And if this interests you at all, please contact me at spiralhigher.com, and I can get you enrolled, and we'll get started in your awakening process to your heart. Anyway, thanks. Have a great day. And this is Amy Fitzgerald, and I will hopefully connect with you soon. Bye.